Guys, welcome to Born Offseason episode 3. This is a 1v1 just with me, kicking off with Kat, and I am talking to Deborah-Anne De La Harpe, who plays for Perth Glory, and she's represented the young Matildas. Guys, you're never going to guess what she does for a job. And we also asked her, who's faster, her or her boyfriend, Jason Saab?
Obviously me.
Guys, welcome to the Born Offside episode 3. This is kicking off with Kat. And guys, we're going to kick off today a little differently than usual. We've got a very special episode, at least for me, it's very special because I get to do this all myself. And it's very nice for the boys to give me the stage to do that. And there's no one I'd rather share it with than Deborah-Anne De La Harpe. You are a Perth Glory player. Yes. You're an amazing Australian female player that I'm so excited to be able to tell your story a little bit. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. Big fan. So it's great to be here.
Should we tell the story about how we met?
Yeah, 100%. We definitely have to start with that.
It's pretty funny. So I don't know. Look, the reality is I took a moment where I had potentially noticed DA's boyfriend before I noticed her because he is Jason Saab, the NRL player for Manly Sea Eagles. And I got excited because I do play fantasy and I spotted him and I wanted a photo. I went up to him and I got the photo. But then, DA, you recognized me from the from the podcast.
Yeah, I did.
It was pretty overwhelming for me.
Like two things at once. Because I'd seen like little videos here and there, obviously following OLANTEKKERS, so I was like,
who doesn't these days?
I've seen you.
Yeah,
I've seen you. I like it.
I love that. It was a really special moment for me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're
for
welcome.
making me feel special in that moment. But everyone should be getting photos with you.
Oh, stop.
That's how that should have gone. It should have played out that way. But we learn our lesson. Anyway, look. Welcome to the podcast. Today, I really want to take a bit of a deep dive into your career and what you've done and I guess what the next steps are for you without giving too much away. But before we get into any of that, and we did this before, a little Wikipedia checklist. We're just going to go through. Let's just fact check as we read through the things that you've achieved. You let us know a little bit about those experiences.
Yeah. Awesome.
So first up, obviously you've just finished your second season with Perth Glory, which is awesome. And you signed for them initially in 2020.
Yeah.
How did you find playing with Perth Glory? And you are from Sydney originally.
Yeah.
So what was that experience like for you?
It was awesome. Honestly, I was just like, got to the point where I just wanted to go anywhere. Like I, playing in the W League, now A-League Women's, was just like such a dream and a goal for me. Like I started training with Wanderers when I was like 15, so I was just like chasing it for so long and had some like difficult injuries and stuff at some critical times, but I just like wanted it so bad. And yeah, to be able to like do something different, you know what I mean? Like I'm from Sydney, but to be able to like go somewhere else and like I guess have a bit of a different story, it was just like awesome. And yeah, living, you know, out of home for the first time and things like that, like a brand new bunch of girls, and it was just like the most refreshing experience. Like the first season was pretty tough, like we weren't really getting results, but like I just like learned so much from it. Like it was so good.
I mean, I think living overseas or living in a new city is always a learning experience. But when you've worked so hard to sign with a football team and you get that opportunity, it must have been incredible.
Yeah, it was just like the best feeling like ever. It was just like when you work so hard for something and then you just like finally get it. It was just.
And so how old were you when you kind of left the nest and moved to Perth?
Yeah, I was 20.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man. I wasn't doing that at 20, let me tell you. I don't know what I was doing at 20, but I was not playing for a football team in another city.
No, it was just, it was mad. And like to be able to go back again the second year and like just be a part of like the story, you know, because like the first season we, you know, didn't get the results, but we kept pushing, and then we had like so many disruptions because like COVID, like the border situation, and that second season, like we just missed out on finals, like on goal difference, I'm pretty sure.
Crazy.
So it was just like to be part of the journey was awesome.
Absolutely. And I did see that you got some crazy goals throughout that season. There was one in particular I remember everybody was freaking out. So nice.
Free kick, it was just like it was so cool because like my family was like right behind me. So like
they were at that game.
Yeah, they're at that. It was at Central Coast Stadium.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah, and they're like literally all sitting right behind me. It was like the best night. Yeah.
What an awesome experience. And you've also played for the junior Matildas.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about
Matildas.
Sorry, young Matildas.
Yeah. yeah, like again, that was like just something that a big goal I'd had. And I'd been like just pretty unfortunate just with like a lot of injuries, like from when I was like 16 sort of thing. And like, you know, all the girls that I was playing with in institute and stuff, they were all sort of like going on to young Matildas and things like that. So yeah, to be part of that was just like awesome. You know, we went to Thailand for the AFC championship, and just getting that experience like at a young age in the international level.
Absolutely, to be traveling.
Yeah, just to be traveling, but like like doing it with like, you know, girls that I've sort of come up through the ranks with. Yeah. Like that was just awesome.
So would you say that it's quite the community, I suppose, like the football community, you've really developed with these girls, and then so to be playing at that level with them, there must be this sense of like unified, like we've made it.
There definitely is. Like it's just awesome. Like we've all like literally been kids like versing each other like, when we were like 12 years old and things like that. So no, it's so good. That was such a good experience, and it just honestly made me even more hungry like for like just to dream bigger, you know, like to it just really opened up a lot for me. So that was awesome.
Next step, Matildas.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, obviously, that's like the ultimate goal, to get to that level. But it's only the beginning.
It is just the beginning, and you're 22, and you've got a long way to go, and
exactly.
You're clearly doing a great job of it. But at the moment, you're playing for RPL Leichhardt in the MPL 1.
Yeah.
And you guys you're off the back of a win yesterday.
Yeah. We had
feeling
a great team performance yesterday. Yeah. It was so good. But we haven't fully been consistent yet this season. Like we have such a strong team, but just injuries, like COVID's been a bit of an issue, like just players in and out. You know, we have like one girl, Sarah Hunter, like she's like getting ready for the World Cup, like the young Matildas. Yeah. And then like Princess has just gone away with the Matildas. So like our squad's sort of changing every week.
Yeah, when you're in an MPL 1 team and all your players are heading off for representing Australia, I think it says a lot about the quality that you clearly have in that team.
It's so good. It's honestly, I feel like for the women's MPL, it's become like a W League 2.0. Like it's honestly like every single team has like such strong players. So it's like the competition's like actually really good. Yeah. So
and you are obviously familiar faces too. So is it quite normal for an A-League player to shift to the MPL 1 or 2 like during the off season?
But like so many girls from like even like Adelaide, like Brisbane, they all come to like New South Wales like to play. Oh really?
Is it the preferred?
Yeah, it's just like really competitive. Like
that's cool to know.
It's especially like these last 2 years, like so many girls from all different states like sort of coming here, or even like Melbourne too. They're pretty strong.
That's so cool. And so look, you've just gone through a list of things that you've achieved, which are all fantastic. But what would you say was the one thing that, if you could say it's your biggest achievement so far, what would it be? Is it too big of a question?
No, I think definitely just like that first season in the A-League was like just it was just like so surreal, because it was just when you work so hard for something, like and just finally getting there. And then I think also being able to like re-sign the next year, you know what I mean? Like that was like, once I got there, I wanted to be consistent. You know what I mean? And like something that's crazy is like in Australian like women's football especially, like the girls are turning pro at like 16, you know, 17. Like nowhere else in the world.
Do you think that's a testament to the development system that we've got going? Or do you think it's potentially, it's always been a possibility, it's only now because there's more opportunity in women's football? Yeah,
I think that like even like with the Matildas, it's different now, but you know, a lot of them were debuting at like 16, 17 back in the day, like Kaya and all those, like Sam. And I think now it's become a lot more like, I guess, competitive. I think there's so much more growth. Like I think we're in like such a big time for women's football. Like it's actually like so exciting to be part of. But like, you know, USA, like they go through the college system and then, you know, they become pro at like 22, 23. Like, you know, England, like it's pretty similar. Like I think like we're like, so it just starts so young here. It's pretty crazy. So.
I mean, it is. And I suppose it's a similar story for you, right? In the sense that you've obviously been playing pro for a really long time. Yeah. And you're 22.
Yeah. But like, yeah, even also like, obviously like with the Matildas, like so many girls like debuting at such young ages, and obviously now it's different. So like also sort of letting go of that, like it's okay that like we're still young. Like,
yeah.
You know, because
it can have the reverse
like,
effect, right? Where you then feel pressured, like I haven't done enough.
Like for us, it's like
I'm not achieving enough.
Yeah, like I'm 22. Like, am I old now? Like, you know what I mean?
As a 27-year-old, I can tell you, you're absolutely not.
No, it's good.
But obviously, it does make a difference. It's football. It's a sport industry where you are at your prime, and this is when you want to be kind of like making those decisions and doing those big things, which is awesome. But it's not to undervalue also what experience will do for your career as well. And every time you play a season with someone else, or with a different team, or those traveling experience, just expand your skill set so much. Yeah,
definitely.
Are there any plans to travel abroad? This was a question from RIP Gillian, who loves to send us a question on Instagram.
Lovely.
So thanks, Rip Gillian. I think that's how you say it. Yeah, he asked if you have any plans to travel abroad.
No actual plans yet, but it is definitely like a goal I have. Yes. That's sort of where I'm looking next. Especially like I have dual citizenship, like I have a European passport, so I just feel like I can't let that go to waste.
Okay,
either. Like,
so I'm going to diverge for a second. Okay, let's talk about your background. You mentioned offline before that you've got like a nice mixed background, and so what's your tell us about it.
Sure,
as from one mixed race to another.
Yeah, we actually like have so much in common.
I know, I love this.
Like so my parents were like, my dad was born in Chile, and like his mum was born in Spain, and like his dad's like French, and then
there you go, guys.
My mum was born in Northern Ireland, and they both came out here when they were
so
like
cool.
10, 11, and there's quite a mix there.
That's really cool.
So
football's in your blood then. Look at that.
On both sides.
She's Chilean, she's Spanish. And the Northern Irish are not so bad.
Yeah, they're actually like,
they've got some good stuff going on.
Yeah, they do. No,
I don't think I inherited that Irish gene. I'm half Irish too, but not a football player. Anyway, moving on. This isn't about me. If you could play anywhere abroad.
Oh, definitely England for me. Yeah. It's just so much
It has really set the bar, hasn't it?
Oh, it's just awesome. Like full time. Like it's a full-time job.
Yeah.
Like that's the dream.
Yeah. And would it be Liverpool Women's?
Yeah. Well, they just got promoted.
I know. Yeah. It would be the perfect time to go.
If you're listening.
They definitely are listening to these. Yeah. Because we were talking offline before I asked DA who she supports. Yeah. And she said Liverpool. So I was obviously stoked by that response.
Of course. Like,
we know that I love my Liverpool.
We already have so much in common.
I know. I love it. I think DA is just going to end up being a regular on this podcast. Why Liverpool though?
Oh, yeah. Actually, it's a cute story.
Okay. Tell me about it.
My granddad like loved Liverpool, and he was like, especially like with me, like he was just always watching football, like all the time. Awesome. Like he loved being in his chair, Foxtel's on. Yeah. He's just watching the football all day. So I spent a lot of time with like my grandparents and like growing up. So I was just always like
That's
watching
so nice.
him.
Is that?
And he just knew so much. Do you know, that was like, it blows me away because it's like we have like our phones, right? We just look anything up. But he could like remember like a game like in the 80s or something.
Yeah, and they would have either had to have watched it or like read something about it. The rest is just
I was like,
storage.
Whoa, like he could remember so many things. So,
that's really cool.
So I just decided to like sort of keep that going.
Was that a major inspiration for you then to get into playing?
Like, I guess a mix. Like I grew up with 3 older brothers, and
I feel like you have a big family, don't you?
Yeah, there's 5 of us.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool. 1 sister, 3 brothers. But I was just like so energetic, like as a kid. Like I just wanted to, like they're all playing outside, like I wanted to be outside. And it's actually funny. We used to play like this game in the backyard. This is how I learned to like kick a ball, right? Because they like it'd be like a goalkeeper game, and we had the trampoline.
Yeah.
So like one of the boys is like on the trampoline, like that's the goal, and you just gotta like get it past him. It's so random. But pretty much.
This is the best thing about growing up in like the early 2000s, whatever. We still did stuff like that.
Like it's so good. And yeah, pretty much like if I wanted to play, like I had to be able to kick the ball like onto the trampoline, on the trampoline. Like I had to learn that techers at a young age.
Do you know what I think? Having older brothers is really
it is a classic story. Like I feel like a lot of girls like I grew up with brothers.
I played because of my brother too. I was my mum put me into netball and she put my brother into soccer because obviously they say soccer, and I used to run up and down the sidelines in line with wherever the ball was while the boys all played on the pitch.
Oh,
and I used
really
to like
cute.
pretend to kick, and I just wanted to be there.
So cute.
Yeah. And I just spent like a whole season begging my mum, like,
me too.
enroll me.
Honestly, like,
isn't it funny though how it was kind of like the stock standard? The girl went into netball and the guy went into footy or whatever.
Like it was a bit different. Like my sister, netball, but I proper begged my parents. Like I was like on my knees, like at 3 years old, like please, like just let me play. But obviously with 5 kids, they're like, gosh, how are we gonna like fit one more child?
How are we gonna manage this, driving kids to this and that and all that?
But I mean, it paid off.
It did. And do any of your siblings play?
Like they all play,
a decent level of football.
Not like they all just sort of did.
So you're winning.
Local.
So they're like
honestly,
we taught you this because we made you play that game, but really.
No, I'm grateful. I think being the youngest helped because like all my siblings are a lot older, so I doubt like, you know, mum and dad could have committed as much with like having 5 kids.
Yeah,
so like, being at the end, some paid off.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what was like the team that you first played for?
Cronulla
Did you play with boys?
Yeah, played with boys. It was so good. We were undefeated for like 5 years. It was so good.
They probably still got you guys written on there somewhere.
Yeah, literally. No, it was awesome. Like it was just so fun.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing. Like, you just always have to have that joy.
Yeah.
Like even now.
Absolutely.
Like, why do you play? You know, just like the joy. It's so good.
And I think also, at least in my own experience growing up, playing with boys made me so much more competitive. To this day, like I will just try so hard to beat a guy at anything because it just annoys me. You know? I'm like, no, I'm not going to let you win. Just because it's not just because I'm a girl. I am a girl. I'm going to beat you.
Exactly.
But I feel like it's very formative to like those initial skills and everything.
Oh, definitely. Even like recent years, like I still train with boys and that. Like it's just like it's just obviously we're made differently, like, and they're obviously like a lot faster, things like that, and it's like just the best thing that you can do for your development, like as a female footballer. Like it's so good. So,
I think it's probably something that's changed so much. You were talking before about opportunities in women's football and everything. When we grew up, I mean, there's a few years between us, but it's probably a similar story. You were kind of thrown into the men's game, and we had to adapt to that. And now there's obviously opportunities for like young girls to play and everything like that. And there's so many more of them playing. I think they make up like 22% or something.
I actually just did an assignment about it.
Give me the facts.
Yeah, to do this like for this sports subject or something. I did an assignment about like the development of women's football since like 1970.
Seems really appropriate for you to do something like that.
It was honestly so interesting. Yeah, like we proper make up such a large percentage. It's crazy. Yeah, it blew my mind.
Which I think is like such a big change though. And it's happened in the last 20 years. Like in at least in my lifetime, like I've seen that change. Yeah. And I was the only girl who played for those first 3 years of my career, if that's what you want to call it. The loosely called career. But then all of a sudden girls started to sign up and play. And then at 12 I had to shift to all girls. Because physiologically they're like, you can no longer play with men.
Yeah, I know, that rule would annoy me so much. But like, I get it, but like, just let me, like one more year maybe.
Totally. But I feel like I still kept playing with them. Like, you know, so I love playing a social. I'm sure you'd have a bit of fun playing social football.
Love it.
I want you in my team.
Maybe I'm gonna organize make that happen.
Yeah, let's make that happen. I need your techers because I'm lacking. But yeah, I think it just made me so much more aggressive. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but
no, definitely.
Aggression never goes astray, does it?
No, never. No. But like even like your point there, like I feel like, yeah, so many more women are getting involved in like football, and that's where like it's becoming like so much more competitive too.
Absolutely.
And like
Which
having
says
like,
a lot more about where you're at and
I
what
also
you've
feel
achieved.
like we have so many players to look up to now as well. Like it's crazy.
It's a huge
Like,
change. There's like the Matilda squad themselves are just such an awesome example of what's possible as an Australian female playing the sport, where you can go with it. When you look at Sam Kerr and what she's done, but it's not just Sam. Like the lineup of the Matildas, like a lot of them have just achieved incredible things.
Yeah, no, it's so good. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like even just making a living out of it. Like, gosh, like, you know, when the A-League women's, and I keep getting like, I'm like, I go to call it W League all the time. Still getting used to it. But like when that started, like girls weren't even getting paid.
Yeah.
And it's like a full-time commitment. And like even when I was like 15 training on, like I remember girls coming off, like we would train at Penrith at like 6 a.m. start, and girls are coming off like night shift with the fire brigade and stuff.
Yeah.
And like they're, you know, working full-time and like getting paid barely anything. And it's just like,
so when you were back at Westfield Sport kind of working out your next direction, did you ever think that you could play and be paid full time, like that could just be your like bread and butter?
Honestly, I never like, I obviously hope for that, but I never, like even NPL, like I remember when I sort of started coming into like first grade, it was like $30 a game or something some clubs would pay. Like sometimes like paying nothing. Like,
sometimes it's like, if you're gonna give me 30, just give me nothing.
Yeah, I know.
It's almost insulting to
like,
give me $30.
Literally. So yeah, I like where it is now. I'm even like, wow. Like if you told me this when I was 15, I would be like, whoa, that's insane.
That's so cool.
So it's just like so cool to be part of the journey.
Well, and I think it's awesome. We've got a lot of young female viewers, listeners, you name it. Yeah. And they often message me and ask me those questions around what it's like for me, I suppose, to be working somewhat in the football industry, but very much so. This is why it's important for us to give you a voice and to talk about what's possible as a player, where you can go with it and what you can achieve, because it's a whole different can of worms these days.
Yeah, no, it is. Something that like was really helped me actually. My granddad actually told me about this, because like I was thinking like, you know, trying to have other things as well, like with job and everything, like with football too. And it was just like having that, he told me, you know, like football is only for like such a short time of your life. Like, and you know, you have the rest of your life to study and to do everything else. And I was like, right. That is spot on.
Like that's sort of the mentality. Throw yourself into like, it, enjoy like, every minute, give it a good go.
Yeah, even like for young girls, like to be thinking that way, because it's like, it is such a short, like for me, it's like probably another 10 years. And then, you know.
I'll give you 15. Yeah. You got more than that. You got more than that.
Thank you. No,
but I think also that does bring up the difference, I suppose, between men and like, women as well.
Know, if you want to have a family, like there's so much you have to factor in. So,
but you know what? You'll make it work.
No,
you'll make it work. But I did want to ask you, because you brought it up before, and we have a lot of people who listen who love the NPL, love talking about it. They love when we bring it up. How would you describe your NPL experience versus playing at the level that you've obviously played with A-Leagues?
Yeah.
Do you find it to be more competitive because of the being that there are, it's a slightly different dynamic. Obviously, you were saying it's super competitive compared to other regions in New South Wales, but how would you just compare the playing experience from A-Leagues to NPL 1?
Like, I think that, I mean, obviously, like A-Leagues is like so intense. Like the level is, I feel like it's just going at a faster pace because of obviously you're on a higher platform too. Like every single team,
the pressure.
The pressure. Like it is very different. And obviously I did say like, our NPL is still really competitive. Like it is like, I wouldn't say the gap is like really big. Like I would say they're pretty, it is
in terms of
close.
skill.
Yeah. Like, and I mean, obviously with A-Leagues, like you get internationals and everything that come into, which changes, but, it's not like, I don't believe like the levels like so like far. Yeah. They're pretty close.
Interesting.
So
Well, like I said, I'd be pretty scared if I was, playing NPL1 and I came up against yourself and Princess Beanie, and I feel like,
it's good.
I feel so good about that. But it's super cool. And I do have a question about Perth Glory. Obviously, you guys had a difficult season.
Yeah.
What do you think was kind of lacking from your perspective throughout the season?
Like with like the COVID situation?
Yeah, well, I guess it was just a tough season generally,
like,
right?
Which one? The first one?
But I feel like both were kind of tough, weren't they?
They were both so different.
Yeah.
So like, which
the
one
COVID experience. Okay, let's talk about the COVID experience and how that
Okay.
obviously impacted the season. But I mean, like you were saying earlier, you ended up relocating. I didn't know that. Maybe that is common knowledge, but Perth Glory had.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it wasn't like a massive announcement.
No,
so
but it does, I suppose, make it more interesting for you as well, being from Sydney and you were back kind of on home soil to some extent.
Yeah, well, it was honestly like, it was just bizarre. Like, and now looking back, it was actually so awesome. Like, when are you... Like, I remember the international we had, her name was Mia, she was awesome. She's plays in like the Swedish league, and she was just saying like, this will never ever happen again, where you spend 3 months, like we were all had our own apartments. It was actually so awesome in North Sydney.
Like in the same building.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
But like, never will this ever happen. Like where you spend 3 months literally living with your whole team.
Yeah, that's
like
wild.
We're not. We obviously have our own rooms and stuff. But it was like, looking back in reflection, it's like, whoa, like what a moment in time.
Yeah, it's like being in camp for 3 months or whatever.
And it was like actually so good. But it was like, just such a unique experience. Like, it was awesome. Just it really showed like the character of our team. Like we were very resilient. We just like had each other's backs. Like, you know, we had great leadership in the team as well. Like, that was awesome. But yeah, just like capturing like such a unique moment in time, like that just never will happen. Even like in international camps, it's like maybe a few weeks or a week or something like that. So yeah, it was awesome. I feel like we dealt with the situation like really well. Like, you know, we had one home game all season.
Wow.
And we just missed out on finals. So
yeah.
Yeah,
just missing out sucks.
Oh, it was,
but like, to your point, such an improvement from the season before.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Such an improvement.
But like our last game, we were versing Wellington, and then I was like Canberra versus Melbourne, and we needed Canberra to beat Melbourne. Yeah, it was pretty devastating at the end of that game, but that's right.
Did you feel like it was gonna happen? Like,
but you also don't want to get to that point where you're relying on other results. Like, that was pretty.
So speaking of Perth Glory, we did have another question. It was from Declan on Insta, and he asked how it is playing for the best team in WA, better than the men's.
Yeah, definitely.
How is it? Is it amazing?
No, it's awesome. Yeah, it's so good. Honestly, like, something I love about Perth and WA in general, they love their women's sports. Like,
how cool is that?
They're proper, like, we're in the newspapers. Like, they're so, like, really good in that way of, like, supporting the women. I found that like really good.
I wouldn't have actually expected that. I didn't know that. I think that's something that obviously, unless you're living in Perth or living in Western Australia.
New signings, like they're writing about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's things that you think that they're doing that we should be doing here.
Yeah, like I think it's just awesome. Like they really promote the women's game a lot. Like I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and I think it's necessary too.
Oh, definitely.
I think we should just be sharing the love around, you know?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
All right, question. Women's Euros are coming up.
Yes.
Who do you think is going to win?
It's a great question.
It is a good question.
I personally, my top 3. Can I do top 3?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think Sweden.
Okay.
Netherlands and Germany. I just love Miedema.
Yeah.
Like, she's so good.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she doesn't have more hype, if I'm honest.
No, honestly, it's such a good point. But let's be real though. Like they tend to get overshadowed by
they do.
other various players, you know, who play for Spain and England and stuff like that.
But I don't know. I feel like Sweden. I would not be surprised like if they won.
You know, that's the first time someone said Sweden.
Really?
Yeah, because I've been asking around.
What do you think?
I feel like the obvious easy choice would be like Spain.
Yeah.
Or England.
Yeah.
But you know what?
I know, I'm kind of going with,
I know, you're going against the grain a bit. I like that.
I feel like why not, you know. Yeah.
I'm surprised with your Spanish roots,
we didn't think Canada would win the Olympics, so.
We like a surprise.
Yeah, we do.
We like a surprise. And as a young player, this is another question. what advice, I suppose, do you have for female and male players? This isn't exclusive to being female, but just on like getting to the top.
Yeah, wow. I think us, like, especially, I'm just going to start with the females.
Yeah.
I think that...
Most important.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, like, training with boys is, like, probably one of the best things that you can do. Like, you know, doing the extras. Like, if you're at, you know, a MPL club, if you're at ARPA, if you're at somewhere, like, asking if you can, you know, train with the 14s or 15 boys or something, like once a week even. I found that that's like something that's really helped, and also like for women as well, like just having that sort of mentality that like it's such a short part of your life, like throw everything into it that you can. And I think it's also important, like, you know, I study part-time, like I'm still like
what do you study?
I do high school teaching. Yeah.
Oh, so you could end up being like the coolest high school teacher ever. After your start, when you win the like, Women's World Cup for Australia, and then you come and start working in a high school.
That's my goal. No, but yes, I do that, and I also work for my uni, which is pretty fun.
What do you do as a job?
I go into schools.
This is the full Spanish position, remember?
I go into schools, like, I just pretty much like talk about why they should come to Macquarie Uni. So
I went to Macquarie. We've just found another connection, guys.
Oh my gosh, this is
honestly like wow. I knew this was going to be great.
This is crazy.
Oh,
like
God.
we're both half Irish. Like there's so much happening.
Macquarie Uni.
There's so much happening.
You date a footy player. I don't. That could change if you know anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. So pretty much, I talk to like 10 to 12 kids.
That's
and I'm just like,
cool.
Don't stress. These are your options. This is what you should do. We talk a bit about my school experience. Anyway, it's pretty fun. But back to the advice.
Let's include the men in this one.
Yeah, and the men too. Like, I think that's like another thing. Yeah, just, you know, realizing that it is just such a short part of your life. Like, throw everything into it.
You've obviously made sacrifices.
Yeah.
You've moved away and being that age where you miss things.
And, you know, the best things often, you know, require some sort of sacrifice and stuff. So the reward is so sweet. And, it obviously as well, like your mentality. Like I that's something that's that's helped me a lot, is like I feel like when you get to this level, like when you get to that level, it's sort of like you can have all the technical ability in that, but like it's like
mentality.
Your mentality and like your will and resilience and how like staying positive, like these are all, that's like I believe is like the biggest part of being successful, is overcoming things.
And
like
but as part of your development, has there ever been any emphasis on like mental training and
from like coaches,
just generally? If you ever had a coach that like really encouraged you to do things like that to develop in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, like at Westfields we'd have like, they had like a sports psych who I think he spoke to us a few times, but I actually started working with this guy. His name's Johnny Novak, and he has this thing called the boomerang effect. And it's like, it's all about like what you put out is like what you will get, sort of thing. So like,
and is this if you're broader life, or is he very specific about sport in this sense?
Oh, but he's like, more sports. But it's like, if you're like positive about your game, like, and the way you think is like, that's what you will get. And it's like, it's completely changed me. It was
that's
awesome.
Really cool.
So like meeting him, and I guess it's all, I've always sort of like thought about it a lot, but like, I don't know. Yeah, it's probably not spoken about as much as it probably should be, but it's such a big part. So
that's really cool. I'm all for mental strength and developing that as well. I think it's very important. But you know what, DA? We can talk forever. We have so much in common. And like I said, the only thing we don't have in common is a footy boyfriend. So help a sister out. Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on. I want to say thank you so much for joining us today. It's been awesome to have you. A little one-on-one.
Yeah, this was great. Kat. Thanks for having me. This has been so fun.
I'm glad you've enjoyed it. But guys, thank you for listening. Obviously, we want you to subscribe, rate us, give us 5 stars. You know all the jazz. And if you ever want any player on our show, please let us know. And we'll do our best to get them on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Bye, guys.